It's a new development, as we've touched upon, with Svetlana Boginskaya replacing Tatiana Lysenko, who was the qualifier. There is some speculation that this is actually a piece of Soviet strategy for tonight's individual all-around competition. We have talked with a couple of members of the Soviet delegation. Here's what we came up with. Coach Leonid Arkayev said that Lysenko suffered trauma in her right thigh last night after her vault routine, although she certainly did not appear to be injured. The team doctor, Sergei Marinikov, confirmed the decision to replace Lysenko, and this happened once before. Back in the 1985 World Championships, the Soviets did this as well. They replaced 2 out of 3 qualifiers, and the 2 replacements tied for the gold. Now let's take you back to last night, to what Larry referred to, and very uncharacteristically, the world champion Svetlana Boginskaya trying a reverse heck during her uneven bar routine. She fell off the apparatus. This is what we did not see. Boginskaya in tears afterwards, had only a 9.275 score on that apparatus, which effectively took her out of tonight's competition. Meanwhile, very strong was the USA's Kim Zmeskal. She was the highest all-around scorer last night. She hit on every apparatus, an excellent high bar routine, a lot of difficulty, and right here she sticks her landing. She scored a 9.9 on that apparatus. These 2 ladies will meet again tonight. They have met only once. That was earlier this year at the Paris International. Zmeskal lost to Boginskaya by the smallest of margins, 25 one-thousandths of a point. So, Larry, if you want to look at this as an opportunity, it is for Kim Zmeskal to upseat the world champion.
Thanks, Hannah. We'll be going back to Hannah, of course, all throughout gymnastics tonight. Nick Charles can't emphasize that enough. I mean, the weather is fantastic. Welcome back to our coverage of the 1990 Goodwill Games. Joining me is Vladimir Pozner. He's known worldwide for his expertise in Soviet and American culture. He's with us for all these games. Also, there you see, it's 4:15 in the morning in Moscow. The sun just rising. And there is the Central Army Sports Club. And Vladimir Zaglada, who is the coach and president of the Dynamo Gymnastics Club, is present with us, and some of his gymnasts working out in the back. And Mr. Posner will help us here. Would you ask Vladimir, what makes Svetlana Boginskaya so special?
Вот такой вопрос. Почему Богинская такая особая гимнастка? В чем ее особый талант, что ли?
Ну, мне кажется, что Богинская, поскольку ее тренер Люба Мироманова часто возила ее еще с самых маленьких лет, она впитала все самое лучшее, что было в советской гимнастике этих времен.
Almost as a mother, and so she just kind of imbibed this as she grew up, and that's why she is what she is.
What do the Soviets do that make them so special? What does he think
Ну,
they
а в чем,
do?
по-вашему, секрет все-таки успехов советской гимнастики? Все-таки есть какой-то секрет, особая тайна, которой обладаем мы?
Вы знаете, Владимир и все уважаемые телезрители, особой тайны нет. Секрет советской гимнастики заключается в том же, в чем имеется секреты вообще во всей мировой гимнастике. Это большой труд и талант спортсменов, которые трудятся на благо развития своего любимого вида спорта.
And people who are dedicated to the sport. That's the only secret.
How early does he recommend young ladies to get started?
Как вы считаете, в каком возрасте следует начинать вот гимнасткам? И не слишком ли рано начинают?
На мой взгляд, не слишком рано начинают. Если дети примерно до 7 лет начинают играть в гимнастику, то после 7 лет уже можно совершенно свободно заниматься этим прекрасным видом спорта.
They shouldn't start before that and get serious by the age of 10.
Thank you, Vladimir. Terrific. And thank you, Vladimir. We'll be checking back with you. Right now, the women are beginning the all-around gymnastics competition to the Tacoma Dome. And Jim Simpson. James?
Larry, I would like to give you the best report in the world, but the bloom is out of the sage. The air has been let out of the balloon. We were looking forward to Boginskaya, whom they reinstated Kathy Johnson, to beat Kim Zmeskal, and the story is already over. Kim Zmeskal, her story in her first event of the evening.
She started at the uneven bars and unfortunately missed one of her release moves. It's called a Jaeger front. Very, very disappointing for Kim. This is her weakest event, and she said so herself yesterday. It's why she was so pleased with a 9.912 on this event yesterday. Comes right here. She does a front giant. I knew right as she released the bar, she was way too far away from the bar. Wasn't even close.
And that in the scoring for the all-around means that Kim Zmeskal is no challenge at all for any medal here this evening.
Well, not this evening. It would be very difficult to make up a 5/10 of a point ground that she would have to make up. Very, very difficult to do that. I'm not going to say impossible because, as I said yesterday, gymnastics, you can expect the expected and the unexpected.
Well, they expected, almost didn't happen, because last night we were saying Bogunskaya was out of it. They have put her in it tonight to face Zmeskal. She's later up on this same event, the uneven bars. And Kim was going to go head on with her, but has fallen in her first apparatus.
I very much believe that it was a strategic move on the Soviets' part to put Bogunskaya back into the competition, because they honestly felt Kim or Betty Okino could really challenge for the gold medal. And unfortunately, it's just not going to happen for Kim. So disappointing. They worked so incredibly hard for it to all end in just a brief second.
The top 16 from last night's team competition qualify. No more than 2 from any one team, and Betty Okino is the other. They take the aggregate scores of all your apparatus appearances, lump them together, and that person with the highest score at the end of the evening is your all-around champion. Svetlana Bogunskaya, who fell on that same apparatus last night, put back in, and she will begin again tonight where she fell last night.
Exactly. It's very ironic that Kim fell on the very same event that almost ruined Bogunskaya's chances for trying to take this all around. But you can't forget Bogunskaya's teammate Kalinina, who is off to a wonderful start in the competition, and of course Betty Okino of the United States.
Betty Okino, a good, surprisingly strong, and as you will see the standings from last night, you will see how strong she was. First of all, Kim Zmeskal.
Wonderful scores, all 9 nines, totaling 39.661, tremendous all-around score.
She would have been the all-around champion. And here's what Bogunskaya did after what happened in the uneven bar.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they used Bogunskaya, because on the 3 events that she did hit, she was well above her teammates in the rest of the competition.
And last night, Betty Okino, by the way, finished 4th. This is Henrietta Onadi of Hungary, and this is her first event in the 4 rotations.
And she is here as an individual. They do not have a team here. She finished actually 5th in the all-around competition yesterday to qualify. And she is superb on this event. She's a former European champion on the uneven bars, and it shows. It's called a Ginger. A little rough on the transition there. Her second release move, the Jaeger front. I first saw Henrietta compete in the American Cup 2 years ago. She has grown quite a bit since then. I know it's hard to tell because she's still very tiny. Excellent work on the uneven bars.
Onadi of Hungary, and who follows Bogunskaya of the Soviet Union, the world champion. And again, a tremendous crowd at the Tacoma Dome. This has been a sellout for months. And tomorrow night, the apparatus finals, and Kim Zmeskal will be back to try on that one for individual honors.
The all-around should boil down to, I was going to say earlier, the 2 Soviets and the 2 Americans. Kim will have a tough time battling back into medal contention. But it will definitely be the Soviets, Betty Okino of the United States, and watch out for Henrietta Onodi right here, and Zhang Wanning of China. Nice work on her giants. A nice high tuck double back dismount. Not the most difficult dismount being done, but she does it quite well.
The highest score thus far on this event is Eva Rueda of Spain, a 9.837, and we wait now for Onadi of Hungary and her mark, and she gets a 9.862, so she ties the highest. And Bogunskaya now, this is her right now. She's getting ready at the uneven. Now let's go over to the vault, and something that has already happened. Natalia Kalinina and her second vault.
And as I said, she was off to a great start. Scored a 9.987. Performing a Yurchenko with a full twist, and look at that landing. That is as close to perfect as you will probably see. You can always say it can be higher, or it can be farther from the horse.
Gabby's already told you the score in that vault, 9.987, just about as perfect as you can get, and she and Bogunskaya after the odds-on favorite. That was earlier, and Bogunskaya now is getting ready on the uneven bars. But let's, with the vault this good, you got to look at it one more time.
Watch the form, the perfect form. Straight body, and you can't say anything else about that landing.
And now, as you take a look at Svetlana Bogunskaya, the world champion, In the European Championship, she won all 4 gold medals. Last night, she fell on this apparatus, the uneven bars, and tonight her biggest competition from the USA and perhaps her biggest competition outside the Soviet Union, Kim Zmeskal, has just fallen.
And I have been in this position before, having to go up the following day after falling from an apparatus. And it's not the best feeling in the world. Here it comes right here, the reverse hecht. And she's got it today. I didn't think she'd make the same mistake. She rarely makes any at all. Nice straight body line. She does not have the most difficult routine in this competition. In fact, by far, but it is so clean. Nice pike, double back dismount. It's a sign of a true champion. They show the consistency, the perfect form.
24 hours ago, Svetlana was in tears after missing on the same apparatus. 24 hours later, Zmeskal has missed, and Svetlana has turned in a fine performance. We await now the judges.
Take a look here. This is where she could sigh with some relief, get past that move. It's so important to be able to rebuild your confidence, and she did it right there. And as I said, she doesn't do the most difficult routine. She did one release move, but that's a very beautiful move here. The split handstand into the toe on handstand, right into her pike double back dismount.
And recall that we showed you earlier Natalia Kalinina's vault for a 9.987. And here's a 9.950. Well, the Soviets are on their way again. 4 apparatus in all. They've completed 1, but they've got the top 2 scores here at the Tacoma Dome. Betty Okino preparing for the uneven bars. Kathy Johnson tells us what it takes for all of these young women as they ready for competition in the Goodwill Games.
Athletes prepare for competition in many different ways. The mental preparation that is required for an optimal performance is most often referred to as visualization. Gymnasts visualize in many different ways. It's very much an inward process, sometimes seen by a perceptive audience. Some gymnasts actually see themselves performing a perfect routine. Others feel themselves going through every move. For those of you who wonder what goes through the mind of an athlete preparing to compete, it's called visualization. And in whatever form, you'll see a lot of it tonight.
With that in mind, here is Betty Okino on the uneven bars, the other member of the American team.
She had such a great competition yesterday in the team. Giant with a half turn to a front giant. Here's her release move. Nice high Jaeger front. Beautiful amplitude. She has such long lines. Second release move.
Whoops.
That will be a deduction. At least 2, possibly 3/10 of a point. And the dismount. It's called a brandy, a front giant into a front somersault with a half twist. It is not a very difficult dismount. She should actually be doing a more difficult dismount at this level, but the rest of the routine was so beautiful except for that one break. You could hear Bella say she was a little far away from that bar.
It's all right? Good. No.
Here's her first release move, way up in the air. That's what the judges are looking for. And we'll see right here as she performs her reverse hecht. She's a little far away from the bar, and that's why she has trouble clearing the low bar. Right here, she catches that left foot, and ow, that hurts. Hurts physically and score-wise, unfortunately.
And so the USA, starting off on the uneven bars, have come a cropper. Kim Zmeskal has fallen, and there's the break by Betty Okino in their race for an all-around medal. And at the top of the standings at the end of rotation 1, as you watch Okino with a good dismount here, sticking it, Kalinina with her vault of 9.987 is the leader, and Bogunskaya, the world champion, with 9.950 on the uneven is second. Onidi of Hungary is third. And the Americans are looking for better things as the evening goes on and as they move to rotation number 2. So that's where we are early on. Lots to go in our race for the all-around gold, silver, and bronze in the Tacoma Dome. It is the Soviets again, 3 times in men's competition, and now for a second night in women's competition, and as expected, leading the rest of the pack. Let's go to Larry King.
Thanks, Jim. Don't forget, later in tonight's show, we'll see American.
Larry, and as you look at the first 4 names there at the end of the European Championships for women in Athens last May, those same 4 names were at the top. The only difference was Boginskaya was a winner and Kalinina was second. So cream shall rise to the top. Let's go down now to Hannah Storm.
And in our second rotation, the leaders are on the beam right now. The challenge on the beam for the leaders, such as Kalinina and Boginskaya, is that they are working on a 4-inch apparatus. It's to make their moves look graceful, and certainly a good amount of dance experience that both Boginskaya and American Betty Aquino have will help them with their transition moves. Boginskaya's coach, Liava Famiromenova, the woman that was with her through her transition years, that was her strength, was dance. As far as Betty Aquino, the American girl, goes, well, she was a 5-time national tap dance champion. She has that long, lean body that looks beautiful on the beam. Jim?
All right, Hannah, we enjoy having you out here with us in Tacoma in this jam-packed Tacoma Dome. The balance beam has Eva Rueda, one of our leaders, ready to go. And over on the uneven, Jana Gunther of Germany, ready to go.
Ava's in 4th place right now after a 9.837 on the uneven bars.
And here is the entire list of those. Onady in 3rd place at the moment. Boginskaya in 2nd place. And Zameskal, who fell, and Okino. Here's the Russian coach.
This is Jana over on the uneven bars from East Germany. They did not fare very well in the team competition at all. I think they're experiencing difficulty with the transition going on in their country right now. Nice giant work to a tuck double back dismount.
Recall, Kathy, if you will, last week, Silvio Kroll, the best East German male gymnast in history, said that it's going to be difficult to get together as a team, and emotionally and socially, they are having a difficult time reconciling themselves to the fact that they're no longer getting paid. They got to get a job if they're to compete on the team, and that they'll be joining other folks. But that is Jana Gunther.
She's performing a reverse hecht with really just ample height. The judges are really looking for the regrasp with the shoulders to be level with the high bar, so that was marginal. Slight form breaks here and there. This is not typical of the East Germans' work over the past years. They have been a powerhouse year after year and always right in there, very competitive with the United States. Of course, their last major accomplishment was at the Olympic Games. They were 3rd, just ahead of the Americans.
Gunther of East Germany waiting for her score. And there it is, 9.712. Not an outstanding score at all for her, and her total is 19.437 in the middle of the second of 4 rotations. But that brings us to our leader, Natalia Kalinina of the Soviet Union, who, remember, scored on the vault at 9.987.
Watching Kalinina in the workouts preceding this competition, I would not have guessed her to be this strong in the competition. She had troubles with a few of her elements, but she has really sharpened up. And looks terrific here.
But 16 years old, from the Ukraine, and last year in the Soviet Nationals, and remember her teammate, she was 1st in the all-around.
First saw Natalia at the American Cup, where Kim Zameskal just edged her out.
Well, the vault was nearly perfect, 9.987, and yet they say that for Kalinina, this is her best event.
This is a beautiful event for her. She is a very elegant gymnast, and you'll even see it on this event where usually power and strength and swing technique takes over. She's also very pretty in her movement.
Or hold your finger over the flash mechanism. Thank you very much. Our next bars competitor is 16 years old from the Ukraine and the Soviet Union. This is Natalia Kalinina.
She has plenty of difficulty in this routine. And most importantly, she doesn't give away any tenths of a point for form deductions. Nice giant with a full pirouette right into a high delchev. You'll never see her legs come apart. Her second release move, a reverse hecht. And a half in, half out dismount. That is a full twisting double back somersault. Very difficult off the uneven bars. As I said, she has more than enough difficulty. 2 major release moves, a very difficult dismount, the full pirouettes on the top of the bar, and perfect form to boot.
She started the second rotation in first place, and we saw nothing there, Kathy. That's going to dislodge her from there.
It's very difficult to see any deductions in this routine. She could be a little bit higher on her release moves. Right here, giant full pirouette. Very nicely executed into a delchev. It's when the twist occurs before the somersault. It makes it a delchev. You'll see oftentimes in the competition what's known as a ginger. It's almost the same move, but a little bit different. Reverse hecht. That's the release move that could have been a little bit higher over the bar.
Here she is again, 9-9-3-7 for this performance.
And look at that dismount. A half twist on the first somersault, half twist on the second somersault. A lot of trick in that movement.
9-9-8-7 in the vault, 9-9-3-7 in the unevens. That is your leader as of this moment, Natalia Kalinina of the Soviet Union. A lot more women's gymnastics in the all-around competition still left as we go for the gold, silver, and bronze at the Tacoma Dome. Back in a moment. In the audience, the Zemeskos, and of course they've seen their daughter Kim fall on the uneven bars and await her performance. She'll be last on the balance beam, and there's young Kim. Disappointment thus far, but still the apparatus finals tomorrow, the individual events, and a good showing tonight. She had the best all-around score last night, but of course that did not count. It just simply helped the Americans win the silver in the team event. Now let us go to the uneven parallel bars. This is Janine Rankin, right. Of Canada.
And she finished 20th yesterday in the all-around competition. And the way the qualification procedure goes, it's the top 16, only 2 per country. So they drop out the 3rd and 4th of the other countries that are ahead. So she was able to move into those top 16 spots. Nice front giant, nice high Jaeger, little form break there. She has little form breaks throughout the routine. Right there, the legs separating. Giant swing with a full pirouette, little off center, another giant swing, and a tuck double back dismount. Just not as strong as the other competitors here in this competition.
One of the Canadian veterans, 18 years old, out of Toronto, Janine Rankin, for the World Championship team. And now let us go over to the balance beam, and there's Boginskaya, the champion that did not qualify, but the Soviets put her on the team, dropping others off the team to make room for her. She's second after 1 rotation.
Front tuck mount right into a Sisson jump with both legs bent, called a double stag. Back handspring to 2 layout step outs, slight balance break there. She had to check it. And when you are in competition for the gold medal, you can't afford even tiny breaks. She moves very quickly on the balance beam, showing confidence in her movement. Gainer, layout, step out. She's moving very steady, only had that 1 balance break. And her dismount, a round up double back, pulls it around. Almost a perfectly stuck landing. Just had to check it just a little bit, but she knows those are slight deductions. And as I said, the person who wins this competition will score well over 9.9 on every event.
To go back in time before we take a look, as he takes the amount here, 9.812 is Janine Rankin's score over on the unevens. Now let's watch Svetlana.
Here's that first tumbling pass where she was just a little bit off. 2 back handsprings to 2 layout step outs, but she really pulls it back on. Sign of a veteran. Many others might have had more of a major balance break there. Nice angle to see exactly how much room you don't have on the balance beam. As Hannah said, it's 4 inches wide. It's actually just under 4 inches wide. And a double back. She was going for a stuck landing. She just had to check it just a little bit.
9.887. So she remains in second place, almost a 1/10 of a point behind Kalinina, her teammate. Onidi remains third. Alicia Fernandez of Spain has moved into fourth. Rueda has dropped to sixth. Kathleen Stark, another member of the East German team, and as we've said before, this is the last time they'll be competing as East Germans. It'll be a unified German team after this. 15 years old, out of Rostock.
Handspring layout step out. You can see from that angle how straight you have to be with the balance beam to allow for no balance deductions. It's one of the special requirements on balance beam, combining dance elements directly connected.
The Germans say that Kathleen is their best performer here in Tacoma.
Round off, back handspring, right to a tuck jump. Anytime a gymnast has to bend at the waist to correct her balance, that's more of a major deduction. Usually 2 to 3/10 of a point deduction. Straddle jump. Kathleen was ranked just behind her team, behind Janine Rankin of Canada. She was 21st. In the all-around yesterday. Round off, double back dismount, nice height, and a good landing. Anytime you hit your balance beam routine, you're very, very happy, very pleased.
Kathleen Stark. The East German team is rebuilding and will be united with the West Germans for the new team.
She opened with one of the more difficult mounts. It's a round off layout step out up to the balance beam. Follows it directly by a back handspring layout step out. You can see exactly how precise the gymnast's feet have to land on the balance beam. Here's where she had a little bit of a break. Round off back handspring. She steps right into a tuck jump. That's another requirement on balance beam. They're trying to encourage the gymnast to combine dance and acrobatic elements. A double back dismount with a very nice landing.
While we await her score, next up will be Betty Okino, who had that slight break as she hit with her ankle on the unevens. But Betty is the national champion in the beam event. This is her event as we take a look at Kathleen Stark, who waits for her score before Betty can go. But at the top of the scoreboard, as we said, it is the two Soviets, Natalia and Svetlana, as expected. Although Kim Zemeskova was expected to give them a real tumble, but she fell, if you were not with us, on the unevens, her first event.
9.587.
The score was 9.587.
Next up from the United States of America, Elizabeth Okino.
Now, Elizabeth Betty Okino out of Elmhurst, Illinois, trains with Bella Caroli down in Houston. And remember, she's our national champion in this event.
And as I said yesterday during the competition, she's just beautiful in this event. Really shows off those long legs. Here's one of her most difficult passes in the routine. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs. Whoa. It's a nice save, but unfortunately that will cost her. Switch leg leap into a sissone. It's really unfortunate seeing them have these slight breaks in the competition. They performed so well yesterday. That is so difficult. A double turn on the balance beam. Really shows off her dance training. Nice handstand showing several different positions, from a reverse plunge to a plunge and lowers down to straddle splits, showing strength and flexibility. Here's her dismount pass. She does 2 back handsprings to a double back. And 1 hop on the landing. It was a nice routine, but unfortunately it did have that fairly large balance break.
Well, it is quite obvious that it's going to take some kind of combination of circumstances for the American team to medal in the All-America. The 2 Soviets at the top. Onodi of Hungary looks very strong. Fernandez of Spain. Rueda of Spain.
Here's her 2 layout step outs, and you can see right there where she just gets a little bit crooked as she steps down to go for the landing. And this was beautiful. Double turn. You can see her spot at the end of the beam. It's a very risky move to do on the balance beam. She arches over, almost touches that toe on the beam. Lowers down to a plunge, right into straddle splits.
9-8-1-2 for Betty. 9-8-1-2.
And the double back with a slight step.
Where there's will, there's a way. Betty Okino has now moved into 5th place. It could happen. 2 rotations for her yet remain here at the Tacoma Dome. Earlier tonight, Kathy Johnson referred to the fact that the Romanian's gymnastics program is in disarray. They only sent 1 competitor. Well, we asked Bella Caroli, who is the Romanian ex-coach, who is here now, what happened to the Romanian squad? Why aren't they sending more than 1 person? Here's his explanation.
Financially, that country is in deep trouble. And when these signs, when even they have to pull back the athletes, not being able to support financially the trip, that's a very sad situation. I know how Romanians, how proud they've been, all of us, back in the old times. The Romanians been more proud than anything ever of their own athletes, Nadia and all the other kids who've been so famous, and they gave so much pride for those people. And if they came down to the point, they cannot even send them out to compete. Now that's a very sad situation, and sure, I feel very bad about it.
Bela, of course, who developed Comaneci and many other champions, now in Houston, Texas. We called him, the Romanian cowboy. He's got a ranch there with deer and all kinds of animals on it, and he is trying to develop an American team that is competitive. Bela says that last night's performance was the best by an American team in some time, but they're on their way back. We're waiting now for the score of Kosuge of Japan as we listen to Bela. This is her performance moments ago as we wait for her score. Check that. We are now over at the uneven bars, and that is Kyoko of Japan.
This is her teammate over on the uneven bars, and she's doing very well so far. Beautiful high front Jaeger. Their coach is the famous Mitsuo Sukahara, who invented the vault, and he's done an excellent job with these women.
Oh my, it fell right on that right shoulder.
I don't think that's what hurt worse. It's hitting that bar. And I've seen that coming since the workout sessions. They are very, very close to that bar. She held on a little bit too long. It pulled her back into the bar as she rotated. Oh.
Yoko has fallen on the unevens as Kim Zemeskal fell on the unevens, and Kim Zemeskal is getting ready to go right now on the balance beam.
This is one of the most difficult things in gymnastics to do, is come back from a fall on the previous event and try and put that out of your mind. Kim is a very tough competitor. Here's her most critical pass. Back handspring, 2 layout step outs. Perfect landing.
14 years old. There was some question whether or not she would compete yesterday. Bursitis in her heel, tendonitis in her wrist. But she was tops all around last night, but not tonight.
These Americans are still fairly inexperienced in major competition. This has been a wonderful opportunity for them to compete against the best and really show they're competitive. Back handspring, layout step out down to one knee, showing a little bit of originality. Comes her dismount, round off, double back. All right, just one slight little hop on the landing, a very nice routine. A tough little competitor comes back from the uneven bars after that mishap.
These are homegrown, too. He just came in off the streets of LA years ago. Not from outside the state or outside the city of Houston.
Her mount is a straddle press to a handstand, showing the strength. And this move shows strength and balance and control. All of the aspects that you must have in gymnastics. Of course, the dismount, she shows the power that she has in her legs, way up in the air on that double back dismount.
Imzamesco going on. Her score 9.862. 9.862. We were watching Seo Kayoko and her bad moments on the uneven. There she is live as she prepares for her next rotation, and this is what happened to her.
You can see she holds on a little bit too long, rotates back into the bar. She is very, very lucky. She actually hit her head on the bar, then her shins on the bar, which obviously stops your rotation.
Kalina, Soviet Union first. Boganskaya, Soviet Union second. Lili of China has moved into third. The best American, Betty Okino, at 6. Let's go back to Larry King.
Thanks, Jim. Some more moments with Vladimir Posner, our Soviet commentator.
Third rotation, and again after 2 rotations, the scores have the Soviets atop. Natalia Kalinina of the Soviet Union. The world champion Boganskaya is second. Lili of China is third. And coming up to one of her better events, the beam. And we'll check on the third round competition in a moment, but now let's check on Hannah Storm.
Well, coming up is the floor routine for Svetlana Boganskaya, Jim, and this could be the key where she makes her move. She now trails her teammate Kalinina by less than 1/10 of a point, but her floor routine has been the rage. At the 1989 World Championships, this avant-garde, very unusual floor routine, she got a 10 on that to take over the all-around title. It's a wild routine. I think that it's absolutely going to knock your socks off. She's not going to win anything with her tumbling, but she could definitely, with her style, take over the lead from her teammate. You're going to love it. It's a real treat.
All right, Hannah, while waiting for Boganskaya, Janine Rankin of Canada is on the beam and has just fallen off the beam and has remounted. And they alternate the competition so that everybody here can see each event as it happens instead of trying to separate your mind and your eyes from one event to the other. Rankin is concluding as Boganskaya is getting ready. And the Soviets as a group, Kathy, are just, well, I'll use Hannah's term, will knock your socks off on floor exercises. They're terrific.
They will knock your socks off and bring tears to your eyes. They are so graceful and elegant on this event. Boganskaya has a little bit different style than many of the other Soviet gymnasts. It is a little bit avant-garde. She shows different types of dance elements in the routine, but very much uses the music.
I've talked about it since coming here 30 years ago on the baths of Cala in Rome. Larissa Latinina, who has won more gold medals internationally than any other gymnast, was the first that I recall putting ballet-type dance movements into the floor exercise. And that's 30 years ago, and the Soviets have perfected on what she did.
Well, Latinina was very much ahead of her time and sort of started the pace for the Soviet Union to remain ahead of the game.
The world champion.
Opens with a full twisting double back in pike position. Very well done. A lot of attention paid to the details of the routine. One and a half twists through to a double back. Very difficult combination pass. And really difficult for a gymnast of her height, 5'3½", to fit that in the diagonal. Her last tumbling run is a double back and a beautiful landing. She just really does not give away any tenths of a point for form deductions. And back to the theme of the routine. Very nicely done, very entertaining. And as I said, a little bit different style than many of the other Soviet gymnasts.
Boginskaya trying to catch her teammate Kalinina, who is last to go on the balance beam in this rotation. On the floor X, still to be seen, Betty Okino of the USA and Kim Zamelska of the USA.
And Henrietta Onodi, who was just in front of Boginskaya here on the floor exercise, scored a 9.887. She was in fourth going into that event. So she's right there in the hunt as well. We're looking at her first pass. Beautiful form. Laid out position with a full twist in the first somersault. Pikes the second somersault. I really like this pass. It's a 1.5 twist through to a double back. She's very efficient on these double backs. She actually does cowboy though, meaning she pulls those legs out to the side. And most of the time that is a slight deduction. We'll see what they do with the world champion.
You got a very slight deduction, 9.975 for Boginskaya. At the moment, with Kalinina still to go on the beam, Svetlana is in the lead. But moments ago, Henrietta Henny Onodi of Hungary was on the same apparatus, if you call the floor exercise an apparatus, and this is her performance, because remember, she is in the hunt, as Kathy said, for a medal.
She was the bronze medalist at the recent European Championships on this event. She has wonderful tumbling passes. Shows all different types of tumbling abilities, twisting and somersaulting. She has really matured since I saw her 2 years ago. Whip back through to a full twisting double back. It's the same element that Boginskaya did, except Henrietta Onodi tumbled into it. Makes it a little more difficult. Watch this triple twist. Incredible. The best triple twist I've seen done. Watch this pass. Double twist, punch front. Tumbles right out of it. And you think that's her last pass? Wrong. She does 4 tumbling passes in her routine. Most of the gymnasts only do 3. Finishes with a pike double back. Can't land it any better than that. Tremendous job on the floor exercise.
And that was a 9.887 for 16-year-old Henny Onodi of Beskiskava, Hungary. I love what she wrote down when they said, what are your favorite things? Reading, music, stuffed chicken, and vanilla ice cream.
I think this really shows what the reputation of a world champion can do for you. Henrietta actually did so much more difficulty than Boginskaya. But Boginskaya is a little bit cleaner, a little more mature on her dance. And I tell you what, the reputation that she has does not hurt her. But Henrietta is doing an excellent job in this competition. This is absolutely beautiful. Finishes those twists. That's 3 twists in the air and drops it right down. Her final tumbling run was a double pike, but of course, remember, she did the side tumbling run in the middle of the routine, which really increased the difficulty.
age 16. There is her score, as we told you, 9.887. The story tonight remains the Soviets are in the hunt for the gold and the silver with Onadi and Fernandez and Li Li of China. As we take a look now at the beam. And this is Gogian of Romania.
And this is the tiniest gymnast in the competition, I think. 4'5". Handspring, 2 layout step outs. Very nicely done.
From Foshan in Romania, their top junior.
Back handspring. Almost a layout, almost a tuck. Hard to determine exactly what that was. It was a back somersault. The position was not quite clear enough. It's really very sad that the Romanians could not send an entire team. In fact, from what I hear, they had actually sent the team to the airport, and they found out after they got there that they were unable to go.
And is it true they've closed many of the training centers for gymnasts?
That's what I've heard. Nice job on the balance beam. Round off, double back dismount. Slight little step on the landing.
Gina Gogian, 13 years old. And here is Betty Okino, 15 years old, approaching her performance in the floor exercise. And we'll bring you Gogian's numbers, her score, when we get them.
She has had minor to medium breaks on both her first 2 events. For a strong performance here. Try and get back up to that 9-9 range. Opens with a full twisting double back. Betty has become much more aggressive in competition. In fact, in 1989 at the National Championship, she didn't even place, and she ended up second at the recent 1990 USA Championships. Triple turn, just slightly fell out of it. Very difficult turn. Middle tumbling run, some pike double back. She was really on those tumbling passes. You can see she has tape on her toes. I'm sure it is for the turns. She does a double turn on beam and a triple turn on floor. It just makes those turns a little bit easier. For those of you that don't know, the floor exercise is a carpet material. Tuck double back. Very nice landings on all of her tumbling runs. Very clean, precise, good strong routine for Betty.
Betty Okino. American flags in evidence. Looks like they won't get a medal tonight in the all-around. Improbable, but the apparatus remains tomorrow. And if anybody can keep them ready, it is Bella and Marta Caroli.
You mentioned Marta. Bella gets most of the attention, obviously, from that couple, but Marta is very much the backbone of that coaching staff. She is an excellent coach on balance beam for these kids. Full twisting double back, just pulls it right around. And as I said, her strength here was really the landings of the tumbling runs. She doesn't do as much difficulty as, say, the Soviets. But she does these quite well and doesn't give away that 1/10 of a point with an unstable landing. And she ended with a tucked double back.
While awaiting her score, Gina Gogian of Romania got a 9.737 on the beam, 9.887. That moves Betty Okino into 3rd place, remembering that Natalia Kalinina is yet to go. But as of the moment, she's in 3rd, so she'll be about 4th. Lili is also in the hunt. It's not over yet, is it? Let's go to Larry King. Our leader at the end of the first two rotations, Natalia Kalinina, is yet to go on the beam, and this is the third rotation. Kim Zmeskal, the America's best hope, who fell on the uneven bars, is about to go in the floor exercise once the score is in on Mari Kosuge of Japan, who has just completed her performance. And Lili of China, who has just completed her performance on the balance beam at this moment, is in second. You would expect that Kalina would take over first, Boginskaya remain in second, and Lili third. But Okino is still in the hunt, and Kim Zmeskal is not tonight, Kathy, having the kind of night she had last night. But she's got to keep the level of performance up. I'm sure she will, looking ahead to the individual apparatus of tomorrow night. Kim getting ready for her performance. Only 14 years old, and just 14. Bella Caroli, her coach, down in Houston, Texas.
Regardless of how Betty and Kim finish this evening's competition, they have really shown the international judges something here. So they will definitely know them now. So the next time they come out in international competition, the World Championships next year, the Olympic Games in '92, they have already put their names out there, and the judges are very aware of them and aware of what they're capable of.
The Zmeskal parents looking on. Their young daughter is next up. She's just waiting for Kyoko of Japan to complete her performance on the balance beam, and it is just about over. That is why Kim is waiting.
Kimbo.
And here's Bella Caroli talking to her while he waits.
He calls her Kimbo, little nickname he has for her.
On the beginning is a slam below.
All right, Kyoko has just completed her work on the balance beam. Kim Zmeskal, let us watch her. And a reminder that the individual gold medals, 4 of them will be awarded tomorrow night, and you'll see it here on the Goodwill Games coverage.
You can hear Bella in the background, strong, full twisting double back. Certainly has the audience behind her. Very nice double turn. This is a great pass. 3 whip backs. Through to a double back.
Get them all.
Always a crowd favorite. Said yesterday how much the crowd does help her here. Finishes with a double back. Very nice routine for Kim.
Kim Zmeskal.
It won't take away the disappointment of falling from the uneven bars and therefore out of the medal hunt. But it sure feels good.
As we wait her score, and note that the Soviets are in the lead with Kalinina still to go, let us watch Kim one more time.
She really did a nice job here. Piked, full twisting double back. It's so hard to not become disheartened after failing in the first event. You have to come back. You've got 3 events to go. And she's really showing a lot of heart.
Oh my, the score, watch it. 9-9-5-0.
And that equals the highest score of the evening. She ties with Bogunskaya, who scored a 9.95 on the uneven bars.
Maybe not tonight for Kim Zmaskal, but there's always tomorrow night and the individual events. Natalia Kalinina, at the end of 2 rotations, she led. This is her 3rd rotation, the last in the beam. 16 years old from the Ukraine, looking to take over the lead that she's held through the first 2 rotations.
And you could see she needs better than a 9.888 to keep the lead over Bogunskaya after 3 events. And she is capable of that on this event. Full twisting back handspring swing down. It's becoming much more of a popular move, but it is still very difficult. What the Soviets do better than anyone in the world is make difficult elements picture perfect.
Sorry, we had a little problem with our camera there, but from a different angle now.
2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Moving very well. Look at the smallest of details, the perfectly pointed toes, the hand movements, the arm movements. Everything is stretched to the absolute fullest. Dismount, a full twisting double back, very difficult. 1 step on the landing, but that is a very difficult dismount off the balance beam. You've seen them time and time again on the floor exercise, and it's a difficult pass on the floor exercise.
Coming to the close of rotation number 3 of the 4 rotations here, and Natalia awaits her score with her teammates and her coach.
Here's her back handspring, 2 back handsprings to a layout step out. Can't be any more steady than that. And watch the dismount. A full twist on the first somersault and pulls that segment around. Of course, takes that step, but really that is the only deduction in the routine.
While we await for her score, we told you that Li Li of China had an outstanding beam performance that has moved into medal consideration. So let us go back in time while we wait for the score and see the performance of Li Li of China in the beam.
The Chinese are always so beautiful on this event. They're very innovative, very creative. Watch this mount. We've seen it on men's parallel bars. It's a Healy spin down to the balance beam. Steffi Kraker did that many, many years ago. Of course, she was one of the top East German gymnasts back in the 70s. 2 layout step outs. Again, when we look at that angle, you can really see how straight those gymnasts must be. Beautiful leaps. Showing her flexibility and her balance. And a backspin on the balance beam. Again, showing her flexibility with the back arch. As I said, they are so innovative and creative that the routines are very exciting, very risky, but you would never know it because of how well they perform. Dismount, round off back handspring, double twist. Not the most difficult dismount, but boy, she packed the routine full of difficulty.
And she got on that a 9.875 and is in 3rd place.
That is a very nice mount. Very similar to the Healy spin that the men do on the parallel bars. You can really see how well their positions are as well. They finish every single move, every dance element, as if there was a photographer there taking a picture of every element. This is a nice move, a backspin, very risky. of course, the dismount. She does a round off back handspring, double twist. Not as difficult as some of the other moves, but look how straight her legs are and together.
And she's in third place. Kalinina, what did she get on the beam? 9.912. She is still the leader after 3 rotations. 1 to go. Kalinina first, Boginskaya second, both of the Soviet Union. Lili of China third, and Bediokina of the USA is 5th. 1 to go. Let's go back to Larry.
Thanks, Jim. I don't pretend to know everything in the world, but I do not know why Lili did not get a 10 there. I just don't.
Who is in third, and Kalinina, who is in first, will be on the floor exercises, and Boginskaya, who's in second, and Onadi, who is in fourth, will be on the vault, as will both Americans, Kim Zemeskal and Bediokino. Now let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Betty Aquino from Elmhurst, Illinois, at 15 years old. She's taken the seniors by storm absolutely this year. She was born in Africa and has something in common with Bella Caroli. They both lived in Romania at a time, but she's been living here since she was 2 years old and has been with Caroli for the last 6 months. The USA coaches tell us that Betty Aquino has made the most progress on the vault apparatus. However, Svetlana Boginskaya will be tough competition. She is the Olympic gold medalist on this event.
There's Bediokino, and she will be second to vault as this 4th and final rotation begins. Keep in mind, Kalinina, Soviet Union, first, Boginskaya, the world champion. Surprise entrant here tonight because she did not qualify. She was simply put here by the Soviet coaches. Second, Lili of China, very good at many events, especially the beam and uneven parallel bars. He is in third. Onadi of Hungary is 4th. Okino is 5th. And Natalia Kalina's all-around scores have been outstanding. Floor exercise, and this is Zhang Wanning of China.
And Zhang Wanning is one of China's top juniors. This is the future of the Chinese gymnastics team. Full twisting double back. They are not as strong in the tumbling as they are on the other events and in the dance here.
15 years old from Shandong province.
Very tiny. That was a nice balance. Zhang Wanning is in 8th place right now after 3 events. Whip back through to a tuck double back. Yep, she stepped right out of bounds. I saw the flag go up. That's a 1/10 of a point deduction. Very young gymnast, but already showing good form, good execution. Very well-trained gymnast. Tuck double back. Like I said, they're not as strong in the tumbling. She almost didn't make that tuck double back, but she pulled it right around.
Zhang Wanning of China. Kathleen Stark of East Germany is the current competitor over on the vault, taking her second. And as we take a look at Zhang Wanning, this was her performance in the floor exercise.
Her first pass was a full twisting double back. She doesn't have the same height or rotation as many of the other top tumblers in the competition. And here's where she went out of bounds. She does a whip back, 2 back handsprings to a tuck double back. She just takes that double back too far back and has to hop. And of course steps out of bounds. And she barely ekes this one out. Shows a little experience though, knows right where that floor is and pulls it around.
Bright young smile from a bright young person, Zhang Wanning, while she awaits her score. In the meantime, Kathleen Stark, this is her second vault, and we will tell you, well, let's first of all tell you that Zhang got a 9.775 in the floor exercise, that they take the better of the 2 vaults. Tomorrow night in the apparatus finals, individual finals, they will average out the 2 vaults. But Kathleen Stark will take the better of her 2. And Bediokino will follow.
She had a 9.7 for her first vault. She performs the Yurchenko with a full twist in tuck position. It's not quite as difficult as what many of the other gymnasts are doing. They will do the Yurchenko vault in laid out position, but she's happy with that. It was nice and clean in the air and a very strong landing. Just good position on the board and the horse. And though I normally don't like that vault in tuck position, she is so clean and elegant. It looked nice.
Now down to the floor exercise in Gina Gogian, the lone entrant from Romania. Who told you that story?
She is a terrific tumbler. Alternate through to a full twisting double back.
This young person's sport, but this is a very young Gina. She's 13.
Shows excellent tumbling skills. She has trouble with that double turn every time I've watched her. She does some of the more difficult tumbling done and then has a little trouble with the double turn. I think that's the sign of a 13-year-old. And she closes with another full in. Of course, the full in is a full twisting double back. It's a full twist on the first somersault, tucked somersault on the second.
Young Romanian Gina Gogian. And Betty Okino now waits the green light to go. Last night she went before the green light on the vault and got a 0 on it. But the green light is up, and here's her first fall.
She does a Yurchenko laid out with a full twist. She looked a little bit high on the horse on that pre-flight, and that's why her after flight was not as high as it could be. Made the landing a little bit low. I'm sure he wants her to be a little bit more aggressive into the horse, so she can get more push off right here. She's just a little high. See, she was almost on her fingertips. It's hard to get a lot of push that way. So indeed, she can improve on that vault. I have seen her do it better. In fact, she did it better in the team competition yesterday, but far from a weak vault.
Betty now will take a very close look as you see what she's done here so far this evening in the all-around competition to make sure that green light is up before she goes on her second vault. How often, Kathy, do you change strategy or change a vault as a result of your first vault?
In this competition, very rarely. The gymnast usually performs the same vault twice to try and improve on their best vault. In the finals tomorrow, they have to do 2 different vaults from 2 different families. That makes vault finals all the more difficult.
9.762 on her first.
Better, much better. I could see it right as she made contact with the horse. She was in a position that was much better to push off the horse, get a good afterflight, a good clean twist, and of course a better landing.
Now here's Li Li of China. We are still live in the Tacoma Dome. Remember, at the end of 3 rotations, and there are only 4 altogether, she was in 3rd place, looking for the bronze.
Li Li has been very impressive in this competition. Full twisting double back. Little stumble on that landing, but cute as can be here. It's hard to describe that any other way but cute. With back, 2 back handsprings to a double full. She's definitely an up-and-coming star, but she needs a little more difficulty in this floor routine, tumbling-wise. Really showing different styles of dance in the same routine. Preparing for her last tumbling run. Tuck double back. Oh my. I was just about to say, much better height than normal, but she way over rotated that. That's a fall, 0.5 of a point.
possibility that may cost her a bronze medal as a result. Betty Okino's best vault was her second, 9.862. Lili needed a 9.71 to tie Betty thus far, with many of the leaders still to go.
We really have relatively inexperienced gymnasts here. They're great gymnasts, but they're very young, new to major international competition. I think that's why we're seeing some of the mistakes we're seeing.
At the moment, as you watch Lili, Betty Okino is at the top of the heap, but remember, the leaders have yet to go in this the final rotation. We are waiting the score of Lili.
Those of you that watched the competition yesterday, remember Lili performed a new move on the uneven bars, German giant into a reverse hecht. Very innovative. But she had some problems right here. I was going to say it was so much higher than she's tumbled all week long, but over-rotates it. It's hard to see from here. She might have even put that hand out of bounds. It might have stayed in, though.
The red light is still up. The score is still not in on Lili. Still to come, Kalinina, who is almost at the end of this floor exercise rotation, and Bogunskaya, who's dead last in the vault. Those are still to come. They are 1-2.
Now, what this might have done, this will obviously drop her down. And Ono D and Betty Okino are right in there. And Henrietta is going to the vault in this event. Not her strongest event, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Lili is waiting. We are waiting for her score. But whereas we thought there would be no race at all, no chance at all for an American, especially after Kim Zmeskal fell, there is still a chance for Betty Okino, and we'll check in on that. We'll give you the score when we come back. Oh, I got it now. 9.30, and Lili is in trouble. Back at the Tacoma Dome, Kim Zmeskal, who lost all chances for an all-around medal when she fell on the unevens her first apparatus up in the vault. She is the American all-around champion, but she will not be the Goodwill all-around champion. She was 10th after the third rotation.
I think this will give everyone at home the realization how far you can fall on one fall. Yurchenko with a full twist. Kim is very capable of doing that vault better. She can do this vault near perfection. I know she can get higher and, of course, a better landing.
Stronger, faster on, down from the ground.
But as I said, only one fall Kim Zmeskal had in the first event. She dropped to 10th place after 3 events. Bella was telling her to be much stronger. Kim is capable of being much higher on the afterflight. And I'm sure we'll see that correction on this vault.
Talking about what one fall can do as we watch Lili on her final moments in her floor exercise. She is now 5th, and that is without Bogunskaya or Kalinina even getting up there. So she has fallen way down. Now
Try to block it.
Score for Kim
Zmeskal.
9
Gymnastics is very different from most sports when you can make a mistake and rebound and come back. Say in basketball, you miss a basket and come back and get the next one and not necessarily lose the game.
Last time you'll see Kim Zmeskal tonight competing. You will see her tomorrow night going for the individual gold, silver, and bronze.
And a reminder that none of the scores carry over.
She's stronger.
Much better.
Yes, it's
much better. There you go. Good finish for her. That's the vault I knew she was capable of doing. Much more powerful. You can see a faster run, more aggressive into the horse, good push off, and that beautiful flare position in the air after the twist. And that is sticking your vault.
There was a little makeup for all the other ones, huh?
Yes, Bella, a little makeup for all the others. Watch the position and the push here, and then opens up, and look at the landing. She fought for that. She was up on her toes, but she wasn't going to take a step. Much more aggressive. It's a true champion. You might not finish in first, but you can prove something to yourself and to everyone else watching.
Meanwhile, in the stands, there are the parents looking on. Everybody will be back tomorrow night Here's the score, 9-9-2-5 for Kim Zemaskal. Stand by tomorrow night. But we get to decide tonight's medals. In a moment, Natalia Kalinina. This could be her night for Kim Zemaskal. It was not her night, but she finished strong. She's with Hannah Storm.
I'm down here with Kim Zemaskal, who hit all her routines after the unfortunate beginning. Why don't you tell these guys what you just told me about your uneven bar routine?
Well, I was just wishing that I would have done the same bar routine I did yesterday, but of course everyone wants to do the best routine, you know, all the time, and that can't always happen.
You got that same apparatus coming up tomorrow. What are you looking for there?
Well, I just mainly want to get my confidence back and hit the routine.
All right, thanks, Kim. Jim Simpson?
All right, Hannah, and here's Natalia Kalinina on the floor, her final rotation. She's led at the end of the first 3 rotations.
And I reserve the term exquisite for very few gymnasts, but I think she's got it. She's so beautiful here. She opened with a double layout. Very dramatic music. Of course, the change of pace. Full twisting double back, tumbles out of it, back the other direction to a layout step out. Again, I have to say, the Soviets do difficulty upon difficulty. I'm not quite sure what that was. A little wiggle, wind up for the last tumbling run. Full twisting double back.
Is there any doubt how good the Soviets are? And this night, how good Natalia Kalinina is.
It's so hard not to repeat yourself. But they continually show what gymnastics is all about. Poise, elegance, difficulty, competitive spirit, everything wrapped up in one.
Our next competitor up on vault represents Canada, Kelly Wolsey.
It makes it even greater for the United States, who came so close in this competition with the best in the world. Look at that, a double layout, slight knee bend in the air. But again, we're watching in slow motion. The judges do not have that opportunity. And this is a fun pass. Full twisting double back, tumbles out of it, back in the other direction. Nice position in the air, very elegant layout step up.
A 10, a perfect 10.
The first of the evening.
That wraps it up. The all-around champion getting a standing ovation.
There for her. She's so excited.
But 16 years old from the Ukraine. She has won it.
I've never quite seen anyone react like this to winning a major championship, scoring a 10.
Second vault, Kelly Wolsey.
Bogunskaya now will be content to finish second. And the race is for third between Betty Okino, who has already competed, and Henny Onodi of Hungary, who is yet to vault.
Onodi, of course, would need a 9.787 to tie Betty Okino. Doesn't sound like a real high score, but it's not Onodi's best event.
The applause you hear is for Kelly Wolsey of Canada. And now here's Alicia Fernandez of Spain. 16 years old from Madrid. Down the road a bit in Barcelona, the Olympic Games of 1992.
And Alicia is a stick of dynamite. And I have to stay here, Spain really has a very strong team. I think they're gearing up for the Olympic Games that will be in Barcelona, as you said. Full twisting double back. Oh, lands a little bit short. The rest of her events today have been so strong. Middle tumbling round is a front pike step out through to a pike double back. Very nicely done. Her teammate in this competition has also done very, very well, Eva Rueda. Spain has really improved in the last couple of years. Closes with a tuck double back. Oh, lands short, puts her hands down. Oh, it's too bad. She has done so well the last 2 days of competition. Very disappointing.
And now let us quickly go over to the vault, for there is Henny Onidi of Hungary who can take the bronze medal. Remember, she gets the better of the 2 vaults. This is her first.
It's a handspring front pike with a half twist. A very nice landing there. It's a fairly difficult vault.
She needs 9.787 to tie Betty. Anything better than that, she will go ahead of Okino for the bronze.
Let's take another look at this vault. See the height from the horse. It's not real high, but of course the landing was very good. She did hold that pike a little bit too long. The judges would rather see her open out of that pike here as she twists to show a little bit more amplitude.
She's waiting, we're waiting. There it is, right there. She is better. Betty Okino already with a 9.812 in the vault.
Very tough competitor, because as I said, this is not her best event.
And Bogunskaya, the other medalist probability, is to follow her immediately.
The same vault, much better height, actually. Slight little hop on the landing, but very equal to the other vault. It might actually score a tiny bit higher.
You would have to believe that it's Kalinina, Bogunskaya, and Onidi.
She's pleased. Very nice competition.
With Okino in 4th.
Again, I think you'll see here, she was a little higher above the horse. Little cleaner twist. Just a slight check on the landing. Definitely makes the most of that push off the horse.
And as a cinch for the bronze, already has clinched that. It all depends on what Bogunskaya does in her final vaults, whether it's a second or third. A 9.837. She's at least got the bronze. Let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Lots of smiles down here with our individual all-around champion, Natalia Kalinina. Let's ask Natalia first, if we can. Her teammate, Svetlana Bogunskaya, was so overwhelming at the European Championships. Did she think that she would be able to beat her this afternoon?
I never thought so, but I hope to.
Did she, when she finished her floor routine, know that she had a perfect routine? Did she expect the 10?
Когда вы закончили вольное упражнение, ожидали вы, что получите десятку? No, she did not.
She's known as being a little bit of a nervous competitor. What were her emotions coming into the competition today?
Какие у вас были сегодня эмоции, когда вы собирались, выходили на упражнение? Just as usual, I felt very responsible. That's it.
We don't know much about her. Can she tell us a little bit about herself?
Очень мало знаем о вас. Расскажите, пожалуйста, о себе чуть-чуть.
Я из города Херсон.
I'm from Kherson, the city of Kherson.
Svetlana Bogunskaya.
I am in Dynamo team.
Со мной вместе в группе тренируются Таня Лысенко и Лена Абрашитова.
Tanya Lysenko and Lena Abrashitova are together in my team.
Thank you very much. Now let's get back up to Jim.
Bogunskaya has just taken her first vault, and she is, of course, the gold medalist in Seoul, and this was her first vault just moments ago. We're waiting her score.
And it was beautiful. Yurchenko laid out with a full twist and a very slight awkwardness on the landing, only because she lands with one foot slightly in front of the other, and I see that she does that very often on all her landings. I don't know if it's because that ankle is a little bit sore. I have a feeling that's the reason.
Well, it's a 9.962, and she is in second place. She is a silver medalist no matter what she does now. The order of finish is already determined. Nataliya Kalinina, who just talked to Hannah Storm, #1, the gold, Bogunskaya, the silver, and then from Hungary, Henny Onadi. Betty O'Keefe of the USA, the top finisher, 4th. Zemeska, who fell in her first event, winds up 6th.
Performing the same vault again. Identical to the first one, but as I said yesterday in the competition, oftentimes when you repeat the same vault done exactly the same way and you stick it, sometimes the score goes up anyways.
Bogunskaya not expected to compete tonight because she fell last night, but named to the team to compete and will take a silver. As the Soviets continue their domination and the Americans continue their pursuit. And Onadai of Hungary did an outstanding job. And here is Bogunskaya in the final event of the evening.
Tremendous job by both girls from the Soviet Union, and really also the Americans making that climb back after having some problems early on in the competition. Showing her championship form.
If there were disappointing performances tonight, Zemeska falling in the first performance as you take a look at the all-around results, but then we came to the last performance by Kalinina. And I remember what you said, Kathy, as she began. This is an exquisite person and an exquisite routine, and this has got the perfect 10.
If I were to give anybody a 10.0 in this competition, it would have been to Kalinina. It was absolutely beautiful. She showed perfection throughout. Just beautiful work. Not only here on the floor exercise, but
and so the top 3 finishers in the European Championships of 1990, the top 3 here, only the difference is Kalinina gets the gold, not Bogunskaya. For a final word, let's go down to Hannah Storm.
Kalinina, in the end of our interview, she was mentioning that she is with a club where 2 very famous Soviet gymnasts are from. Possibly she will be the 3rd. Again, showing great form, a perfect 10 on her floor routine. Her career has been a series of almost. 2nd in the European Championships this year, 2nd at the American Cup to Kim Zemeskel. She was an alternate on their World Championship team, didn't even get to compete. She will be an alternate no longer, as she is no longer 2nd, but 1st tonight. And now we go back to Larry King at the International Broadcast Center. Larry, that's it from the Tacoma Dome. What a night.
Fabulous night with the gymnasts. We have a full night of action coming up, more wrestling.